What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today we have a hold up. Let me fix my mic. Let me get this shit right. Bars. So we're doing a tier list today. We're keeping it simple. You guys voted in the live stream today if you want a regular list or tier list. We're gonna do a tier list style of me ranking 20 Superman inspired characters or knockoff characters of Superman by weakest to strongest. I have the link to this tier list in my Discord server. If you guys want to join up, make your own tier list or talk about the tier list, definitely join the Discord. All for it. If you want your favorite content on the channel, or if you want to just support the boy, hit the Cash App or hit Discord to talk business. I'm also selling servers, including my server with all the Infinite Frontier Superman shit. So definitely hit me up. But back to this, let's get this tier list started. I actually have to work overnight tonight, so I decided to post this late so that I could help wake up, took a day nap, all that. You know the vibes. Grind never stops. Let's get into this. So, first up, we have Omni Man. Omni Man, we're gonna start at F tier. Like, he's not bad. He's star level, maybe above. He has FTL to MFTL feats, some basic Superman type hacks, including super strength, flight, all that. Pretty dope. But if we're talking about quality of writing, he's in big dog tier. But we're talking about power. For his power level, he won't blow you away, especially compared to the other Superman knockoffs. I don't have him in dog water tier. Don't think he's the weakest on the list. However, I don't have enough to justify moving him up to even solid tier yet. We'll see how it progresses. But yeah, I'm starting off with Omni Man F tier. Next, we have Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse, Super Mouse, he's been a big dog. This man has been around since just a few years after Superman, modeled after him. They had crossovers with Superman even back in his broken days where he basically let him do whatever in comics. He's like, oh shit, Mighty Mouse is as strong as me, if not stronger. So he's been a beast. He was always relative or in that Superman tier. He's made to be broken, almost like a gag character. And I would definitely consider Mighty Mouse a big dog. Next up, we have Supreme. Now, Supreme is actually used in crossover events with the Invincible verse to gas up the Invincible verse. I would say for him, he's like Galaxy, Galaxy Plus, to even Universal. Nothing insane. I think the best I ever saw for him was someone tried to get him to Multiversal. If you have him in that range, maybe tough tier. But as for now, I'm going to put him in the solid tier. Again, very impressive, great feats. Had the crossover with the Invincible verse, but I wouldn't put him yet in the tough tier or above. Superior, Dog Water. Now, this is actually one of my favorite comics from when I was younger. I thought it was a really good story. It's basically about this crippled kid that gets the Superman like powers, becomes a hero, and how he pictures himself in the face of being a hero while also dealing with what he's been his whole life, the feeling of not being good enough and whatnot. Amazing story. However, the scaling's not crazy. The scaling's not going to do much for you. If you're a scaling geek, not the story for you. If you want a good ass story, it's the story for you. Regardless, I have him in dog water tier. Next up, we have Hyperion. Put him in the tough tier. Hyperion, definitely not the strongest of the Superman knockoffs. He has been at his best would be like Heroes Reborn, but that's an alternative of him. He has decent hacks, flight, super speed, super strength, atomic vision, all that. But not enough to put him in the conversation with someone like Mighty Mouse. Like if Mighty Mouse gets his hand on Hyperion, that's a dead body. You feel me? So I can't put him any higher than tough tier. But I definitely respect what Hyperion's capable of. Next up, we have Metro Man. Welcome to Dog Water tier. Now, by the way, guys, I'm using ad blocker for the first time on my tier list. Let me know if you like the change. I have Metro Man ass tier. Like, he doesn't really do anything crazy. I feel like a lot of people just bring him up for memes, but he doesn't have any real crazy feats. He's like maybe multi-building level. He survived in outer space, can fly and all that. Has cool hacks, but like you can't put him in the conversation with like Omni Man. Omni Man would turn him into a shish kebab. That shit would be terrible. So I'm gonna put him in the dog water tier. Next up, we have Majestic. Now, Majestic, as his name implies, is majestic as fuck. He, hold on. Actually, let me make sure he's the right. Yeah, he is the right guy. So Majestic is strong as hell. Um, I would put him in the big dog tier. He's been able to go up against Superman, often is compared to Superman in verse. He's lost to Superman, but he's also gone toe to toe with him. Pretty strong, pretty consistent throughout his comic runs. Definitely stronger back in the day, in my opinion. But I would say he probably deserves the big dog status when talking about comparing to the other Superman knockoffs. Apollo, I'm gonna say tough tier. Apollo, when he first came into Wildstorm, I thought he was a little more impressive in Wildstorm on his own. When you put him in DC, they were comparing him to Superman. He did fight Etrigan, did hold off Etrigan. He was able to fight the likes of Atrocitus for a little bit, and he flew out of Naran's hell. He has some pretty good feats, but he's also inconsistent as shit. I can't put him in the big dog tier because if you want the bag fumbled, Apollo's going to come through and fumble that bitch. I am so sorry, Apollo fans, to all four of you. I'm a Midnighter fan. I know that's his little boojank, but I promise you, he's kind of ass. Regardless of how ass I think he is, he still has plenty of crazy moments that does justify at least tough tier. But I do think Hyperion will beat him up. I don't think. In fact, Supreme might give him a decent run. Maybe we'll move up Supreme later. We'll see. But yeah, he's someone that has potential but doesn't really live up to it. Just as I say, I'm using an ad blocker, one gets through. Shit happens. Plutonian. So this is a character who, like, in theory is dope. He's scaled to like star systems, neutron stars, galaxies, technically, and his potential puts him above that. His potential, if truly unlocked, it's reality warping. He can see through time. He can reverse entropy. A bunch of crazy shit. But he doesn't really reach that potential because he spent a lot of time doing other bullshit. So he would fight street tier people and just be strong enough to beat them. That was his thing. So he didn't maximize his potential. If he did, maybe tough tier, but he never really reached that. So I would say solid tier. Boxing with Supreme. If he ran into Supreme, he'd have a chance to win. But for now, I'm gonna have Supreme above him. Goku, tough tier. Goku, people might say, oh, he's based on Sun Wukong. Shut up, bitch. He has more in common with Superman than he does Sun Wukong. Now, Goku is actually a beast compared to most on this list. I do think he would beat Supreme. I think he'd beat Plutonian, unless Plutonian again reaches full potential or whatever. He will beat the dog shit out of Omni-Man. These tiers below him are just not for him. You can easily get into multi plus. And for that reason, easily in the tough tier. Now, do I think he could beat Mighty Mouse or Majestic? No. But I do think he's one of the more respectable characters on this list. Matter of fact, Apollo's a bum. Fuck. But Apollo has better speed feats. Apollo might just blitz. But, we don't rep Apollo around here. He sucks. Goku's probably a little less sucky than him, but not above Hyperion. However, I will acknowledge Apollo could technically speed blitz him. Next, we have Captain Mar-Vell. Captain Mar-Vell, definitely tough tier. Captain Mar-Vell is one of my favorite characters from back in the day before he died. Rest in peace to the boy. This man was so hood. He was so real with the hands that when he died, everybody showed up and showed respect. Like during his death arc, Thanos himself, one of the biggest haters in creation, showed up and said, yo, love him or hate him, this was a real op. This was a real goon. Like, he respected the shit out of Captain Mar-Vell. Mar-Vell could box with a pissed off Ben Grimm, was constantly taking on cosmic threats, was boxing with Thanos. Like, he's easily in the tough tier. Put the captain of that shit. Hyperion don't got enough dog in him to stand with Mar-Vell. I'm sorry, I don't care if y'all hate that. It is what it is. I'm gonna put him in the tough tier, probably the captain of it. Invincible, we do know in the series he surpasses his dad. He's beyond his dad, battles someone like Thrag. Basically has the same stats as Omni-Man, but does get stronger than him. So I'm putting him above Omni-Man. Now, by the way, guys, let me know who you think about Goku versus Apollo. Like, who do you think wins that? Because that's still on my mind. But regardless, Invincible, stronger than Omni-Man, but I don't think he transcended him or reached a different tier of power. So I'm going to keep him as the captain for now of F tier. Like, he's pretty good, but not crazy. Next up, we have Icon. Now, Icon's kind of a beast. Basically, Black Superman, except instead of growing up on a farm, he was actually raised by a slave. It's a pretty dope backstory. Strong as hell. Actually has nearly knocked out Superman before, gone toe-to-toe with him, took on Superman and forced him to, like, actually really try. or try harder rather. And Superman even said like, "Okay, I can't just take this lightly." He's a beast, and that was back when Superman was doing whatever he wanted. Definitely put him as semi-relative to a base Superman. Very strong. Has the feats, has the IQ, has the battle IQ, has the hacks. Icon is him. I'd probably put him above Majestic. I think he would probably beat Majestic. That's a close one. Might be worth a battle, but definitely in the big dog tier. Next, we have Homelander. Homelander is captain of the Dog Water division. He really is. Um, he doesn't have anything crazy. Best you can get is like nuke to with statements at best, like planetary. Like some people think he could walk on a star or whatever. Cool. If so, maybe you could put him at the bottom of F, but he's likely dog water just to capture that shit. He'd beat the fuck out of Superior. He would murder Metro Man. But do I think he's an A tier? Probably not. I think Omni Man and Invincible clap. Next, we have All Might. Sorry, All Might fans. He's just not him, at least in this conversation. Yes, he is seen as this hope within his verse. He's always swinging on the big bads, but the My Hero verse just doesn't have great scaling. Doesn't do anything that blows your mind. I definitely feel like going against someone like Homelander would just laser the shit out of him and then try to rip his guts out. Probably beats him. I don't think All Might beats Homelander. Y'all can let me know in the comments if you disagree. But I would have him in the dog water tier. I just don't think he's impressive enough to put him higher. Sentry. Sentry is in the big dogs. Matter of fact, fuck that. I'm moving up Marvel. That's my dog. Marvel, you're moving up because of how Thanos respects you. All the people you beat up Surfer, all that. I mean, everyone beats up Surfer. I fucking know that. But if I put up Sentry, this is probably a decent fight. So I kind of have to put them in the same tier. Like, I definitely think Captain Marvel could keep up with Sentry. Do I think Standard Hyperion could keep up with Sentry? Probably not. Do I think he could keep up with Marvel? Probably not. Marvel's got too much dog in him. And Sentry has his reality warping. His stats are as pretty much good as anyone. His only thing is he's a jobber. Sometimes he's going through it mentally. And so he'll fumble the bag every once in a while. But he is one of the strongest, heaviest hitters in the Marvel standard lineups. And I definitely do think he deserves the big dog tier, especially when he's putting in work. Do I think Captain Marvel would beat Sentry? Probably not. Do I think Captain Marvel would beat Majestic? Close. So I'd probably have Sentry right in the middle of them. Next up, Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel's an absolute monster, especially in modern times. Accidentally KO'd Sentry when he didn't want to fight him. He's melted Beyonders. He's gone to realms beyond realms. He's gone to the lands of nothing that is, nothing that was. He's had conversations with the one above all. He's been to the House of Ideas. The Phoenix Force respects him. He's battled beings beyond these realms that I just mentioned. He's a monster. His matter, antimatter hacks actually goes farther into the Marvel landscape than we give credit for. Basically, if you appear in any form, he can burn that form, you know? So he's an absolute monster, super brilliant. Definitely think Mighty Mouse is a tough out. Mighty Mouse is that guy. So I don't know if Blue Marvel's above him, but he's definitely at the top of the big dog tier. Next up, we have Gladiator. I'm going to put Gladiator up here. When Gladiator is on his shit, he can pretty much beat anyone. Now, when he gets in his own head, he can pretty much lose to everyone. Now, do I think he's above Hyperion? Yeah, if Gladiator's on his shit, he'd probably just blitz Hyperion. This is the same Gladiator that blitzed across creation, blitzed the vision of Heimdall, who can see the world tree and see all of creation, was putting hands on the gods that beat up Jane Foster. He's a monster. He's a problem. Now, would I put him above Marvel? Not quite sure about that because Marvel has that dog in him and will talk crazy. So he could catch Gladiator slipping with that. If Gladiator didn't have such a wish-washy, if y'all didn't know, his powers literally fluctuate based on confidence. If he wasn't so wishy-washy mentally, I would definitely put him higher, probably even in the big dog list. I'd put him above Marvel, but he's not a dog. At least not as much as Marvel. Marvel would get his ass. Next up, we have Shazam. Shazam is a beast. One of the strongest in DC. Magic-based powers that come from the Rock of Eternity. Some of the strongest magical beings in all of creation in DC. Basically went toe-to-toe with Superman from day one. Can he beat Superman? No, not when Superman's in his bag. Do I have him above the other Supermans from his verse besides Mighty Mouse? Yeah. He'd probably beat everyone on this list before him. Do I think he beats Blue Marvel? Probably not. I think current Blue Marvel could probably catch him slipping. But he is a monster in his own right and definitely deserves to be in the big dogs. Finally, we have Miracle Man. So Miracle Man actually got a recent upgrade, basically like an archetypal being from Marvel. Um, he's able to read the stories of Marvel themselves, dip into the multiverse. In his old comics, he could travel back through time and basically hit you with punches that retcon your abilities. He could fly back, gain power from every instance in his moments in life, stack them, and then hit you with that. He has some weird hacks, some pretty crazy hacks. There's a reason they call him a Miracle Man. I mean, he's always making a play. And especially with him being added to Marvel recently and how they treat him in that, I think Miracle Man's an absolute beast. Definitely in the big dogs. Now, before getting added to Marvel, I probably would have had him lower, maybe solid or tough tier. But because of how he currently stands, I would say Miracle Man's in the big dog tier. Now, this is my list. This is how I see this. Which one am I least confident on? Which one could move? Probably Hyperion. Maybe you could move him up here. Maybe you could move Supreme to tough tier, like the bottom of tough tier. Matter of fact, we're going to do that. Fuck it. Fuck it. There you go. That's probably where I would put it. That's probably my tier list for this. I am very curious to see what you guys think. As always, this is my opinion. And if you think any of these characters should be matched up or would make for a dope battle on my channel, let me know in the comment section down below. And let me know what you think of the list. And if you want to make it yourself and post it in the server, join my Discord. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.